in land use so that you can work together and one hand isn't saying, or one voice isn't saying one thing and another voice is saying another. Doesn't that make more sense?
I don't really agree with you, Jack. I'm sorry, but you know, what she's doing right now, she works very hard at the state level. She's up there at DECD quite often trying. In fact, we have a $500,000 grant, of which we spent $250,000 so far on to the tech park, and the state wants to take the balance of that away from us, and we're up there fighting for it. In fact, I went up once with her to sit with these people up there at OPM and the DECD up there, and we spent almost a whole day arguing the point that, you know, how can you give us a grant and then take it away?
Yeah, I don't disagree that she's doing work and helpful to our cause, but I'm looking at a time in which the economy is horrible, and we're trying to save some money and come to some economies of scale, and I'm wondering whether there was any thought of combining these things so that maybe like Danbury, we could have at least for the temporary period of time, we could have a part-time director as opposed to a full director who's earning, I don't have the number in front of me, $85,000 or something to that effect.
$84,000 is her salary. Yeah.
So
well, what I can do is I'll have to.
Maybe you could bring, if it'd be all right, someone from land use in.
I'm sorry?
Can we have someone from land use? Sure. Could you bring someone in from land use to understand what they do and how they work? Well, do you want
Liz Stocker here also?
That would be fine.
Okay.
Anything on that? Anything else on that topic?
Do we have a time limit?
We got another half hour.
Another topic?
Yes.
I just heard Joe say that the new town hall, I guess, scheduled now for September of '09. The additional funds, new funds in the budget for the new town hall, are they theoretically starting June 1st? Or July 1st, rather?
Harry, I don't follow.
My point is, when the money that you have budgeted for the new town hall, additional money, operational money, when is it? Is that based on the 9 September opening?
As far as I know, yeah.
It's probably based on a month before that.
Yeah.
Because the timing has changed. There is an overlap between the Kendro monthly lease payments, the early termination fee that you have to pay, and the new town hall operational costs.
We have a $4,000 penalty when we get out of the Kendro building.
And to say the truth, we're actually still looking at those amounts too, because we're trying to get more realistic, not more realistic, we're trying to get better figures for the electrical costs and the heating costs for the building. So I've sent an email to O&G to try to get some costs that may be closer to what they should be.
Did that answer your question?
It did.
It did?
Well, I'm curious to know. Well, he said 1 month ahead of time. So yeah, they answered the question. I guess I'm wondering if there's money in there that could be taken out because of the delay.
Understand, we pay $18,000 a month for the Kendall lease.
So therefore, if you're delayed 1 more month in the new town hall, the money would have to go for Kendall.
Yep.
Okay.
Other questions? Mike?
Yeah,
How you feeling?
I'm feeling lousy. Thank you for asking. But I still have some questions. I'm okay, really. Your budget numbers include a 9% increase in medical costs. Are we going to have, or do we have updated figures on that from the consultant?
I do have updated figures. The initial medical calculation was just an overall 9% on the prior year's number. It's a little bit more complicated than that. I did change the name of the department from medical benefits to employee benefits, because in there is also life insurance, long-term disability, in lieu of medical payments. We also have offsets to medical, which is employee cost share and outside agencies cost share. There was a meeting in January with Aon, who is our medical consultant, and there was a 5.7% increase in the premiums. They told me they're coming back to me in March because they have one more meeting with Blue Cross Blue Shield to try to get it even further down. Right now, the number that's recommended by the Board of Selectmen is very close to what the actual will be. It just so happened to turn out when I did the more detailed calculation, and I have the paper, I'll share it with you. When you take the gross medical premiums times 5.7%, plus the agency premiums that we pay minus the cost shares, it gets very close to that number.
9?
Including the positions that we eliminated and their insurance premiums that are gone.
Is that the 9%?
That is using the like I said, the 9% was really on last year's total figure, and it's not all medical premiums. So it was a quick calculation. The Selectmen's figure is based more on a more accurate figure, and I've done another calculation since then, and it's very close to the number that's in the budget book.
Which is?
Benefits up 108,000.
Which is 3,083,000, which is the number that's in the budget book.
And what percentage increase is that for?
And that was using a percent increase of 5.7%.
Okay. Can I piggyback on that one?
Go ahead.
How is that number, Bob, how is that number related to town-wide benefits, including the Board of Education, if at all?
Well, the Board of Ed uses Blue Cross Blue Shield. They have a different package. And if I remember correctly, their percent increase was very close to that as well.
Very close to what?
5.7%.
Yeah, I think they used 5. Can I continue? Turning to some other questions, based on some of the feedback we got from the public hearing the other night. There was a question, and again, Joe, I know that you may not have been involved in these discussions, but I'm talking about the Newtown Youth Academy lease.
Yeah.
Can you kind of summarize for us, if you can, what basically transpired? Because there seems to be an argument as to whether somebody entered into this lease instead of coming through the capital improvement plan and getting a bonding done. And I know the lease agreement says that the Board of Finance has to approve, or the town has to approve the lease payment for the next 2 years, and then we're going to try to bond the whole thing. But could you kind of elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, what happened was, the agreement for the Newtown Youth Academy was that they wanted to open their doors on November 1, and part of the agreement was that we would have 241 or 271 parking spaces available to them when they opened on November 1. Well, obviously, we weren't able to do that, and so what happened was that Fran Penarola, who is a lawyer for Peter D'Amico and I guess Dave Brogan's got together, and they cobbled up this thing where Peter D'Amico would finance the just tearing down of Greenwich Hall and putting in the parking lot. And he would borrow that money, which he did from the Newtown Savings Bank at 6.9%. And at that point, Bob and I went over to Newtown Savings, and we talked to them, and we said that we would give them